different live opinions here right now, two people that don't always see eye, but at the same time, it's very important to have, you know, a non-biased and neutral opinion on certain matters. Now, this morning, what we will be discussing here is an issue that is currently going on where there's a gentleman that has been convicted of murder. And the murder that he has been convicted of is that of a 41-year-old woman and her 2 children. Now, this crime apparently happened earlier, maybe around 2012. Saw his face. And because she saw his face, he should be granted an opportunity to even fight for his own life. And the wife claims that this man has also been abusive in their relationship. Right? I can understand the man who he was at that point. I can understand that the man that he was at that point in time was a very violent man, abusive, strange. Now, I need people to understand too. And I'm pretty sure that the man in himself who is currently in prison, who more than likely probably got access to Facebook as well, because we know how the system is, right, will be able to get to see this. Right? Before I state my opinion, I would like to hear the opinion of Mr. George of Guyana. Mr. George, have you been briefed on the facts so far of this issue?
Well, I'm listening and I'm looking into it very carefully. And if the man accepts to his wife that he's the one that commit the crime, then what more you want? I mean, he accepts. I have to congratulate the wife if she make it possible and give a statement towards the act of her husband. And then I will look at it in another way to find out if she also, the wife, by handing him over, if she is not setting him up, and he could be an innocent man, but if he's honest, by God's will, then so be it. You know, ladies and gentlemen, why I say that? Sometimes you may have a husband who don't want his wife anymore. And he will look on every avenue to lie on her, as much as a woman will do to a man. But if it is proven, without a doubt, that he have committed such crime, such a disease don't need to be around us. We get rid of malaria, filaria, TB, AIDS. We trying to get rid of COVID-19. Why we don't get rid of COVID-17? Who's this man? You don't kill children and women like that. We are not the Taliban. Come on now. And he's not suicidal. He should have killed himself and saved the nation the problem. And you know, this is how it is all. I'm looking at it. That is my philosophy. Or must I say, I am in sympathy with his father, his mother is alive, his brothers and sisters.
Because they punish him.
Because of what he have done. But in some country, they would have taken his mother's life for the woman's life, and maybe 2 of his children for his nonsense. Because if the mother had an abortion, we wouldn't have had this situation. That is my bloody opinion.
All right. So the court should deny his request.
Every man needs a fair trial. But if it was proven that he is, don't waste taxpayer time over and over and over again.
Okay.
You know.
Fair enough. All right. So I will tell people this, right? In my personal opinion, I would say that based on the evidence, based on confession, based on the gruesomeness and the severity of the crime, I think that the court's decision was a very valid decision to sentence the man to death. That is my personal opinion. And in saying this, in case the man is watching right now, if you were arrested since 2012, that means in 2017, that means in 2017, when I was wrongfully thrown into prison, that means I have met you. I personally probably know you. And I can tell you this. After people commit such an offense, normally, when the severity and the consequence of that offense comes to their face, where they cannot run away from the accountability of it, people tend to want to change their life. And I see that the gentleman in the newspaper picture, he has on the Muslim thing on the head, so I guess after he murdered the people, he went and find Islam, right? Or some people kill people and go and find Christianity or find some other means to appease their consciousness based on the crimes that they have committed, so that they don't have to, torment themselves when they sleep. But it does not change the fact that that man would have taken the life of a mother, of a 1-year-old child, and of a 6-year-old child. And both of them had a full life ahead of them.
More than him.
And he took their life. He took their possibility. He took their possibility to become something great. He did not just steal from that family. He did not just destroy these people's lives or his own, but he has also robbed society of 2 young people whose potential is now completely unknown. They could have been something great for this country. They could have been an answer to a problem that humanity has, but no one will ever know this now, because the 2 youngest people inside the building, the man chose to slice the throat. This is something he will have to live with. And I believe, in my opinion, he has had 9 years to reflect on everything that has been done. And the reality is, if there are crimes that will put people for life in prison in Guyana, I believe we need to make economical decisions in order to protect taxpayers' interests. So what I say now, I say in the interest of the country and not in the interest of any one particular individual. I believe that he should not be granted an appeal based on his conviction. And in fact, what I say here is to actually help that man, not to hurt that man.
And not to prolong the sufferment of his family.
The wages sin pays is death. The Bible tells you that. Even the Quran can tell you, if you're killing people and innocent people, there's a price to pay for it. And there's been far too many crimes against women and children in this country. And we must set a stern example if we expect to maintain discipline in Guyana. The fact that this matter started with a home invasion, it is essential that our leaders revisit the criminal law. I'm calling on our Attorney General, Mr. Anil Nandlal, to make all break and enter and home invasions
Penalty by death.
penalty by death if it leads to someone being injured or hurt, or penalty of life imprisonment because it could lead to people being dead. Guyana, we have a lot of petty crimes that turn into big crimes. Did you hear what the man said? He went in the house to go and rob the people, but then the woman saw his face, and because of that, he killed her. He killed the woman's children. Ladies and gentlemen, if there were stiffer penalties against people who are breaking into people's homes here in Guyana, as opposed to a slap on the wrist, a small fine, and a week or 2 weeks in jail, if you made it serious, ladies and gentlemen, to where if a man get catch breaking into somebody's house, I didn't care if he get for thief anything or if he did not get to thief anything, he is found in those people's house, against their will when he is not supposed to be there. And worse yet, in the process of committing a crime inside those people's house, I do believe that the penalty should be extraordinarily severe. And I'm calling upon our leaders to make this a capital offense.
Snow, let me hold you back 1 minute. I don't like that last passage. And I will tell you why. If I wanted to kill you, I friend with you, bring you in my house, create a robbery when I finish killing you and say you break and enter. So we got to be careful how we touch that one.
No, well, here's the thing. That's
All right?
that's where people have to be careful who they call their friends. And if you like go by friends steady, you're going to learn a lesson.
No, but you understand what will happen.
But at the same time, remember the law must still be initiated in place to address the current problem.
Once it is proven that a man break and enter, no other excuse, execute his ass. But people can be your friend and they want to get rid of you, and if that law becomes legal, they stage a war robbery in the place when they don't kill you and say you attack them, they kill you.
No. Listen carefully.
It happened, man.
Listen carefully.
You are dealing with criminals who are running this country all over the world. They have to stop criminality now to be a leader.
Well, these are the circumstances that are currently relevant in the world, and people need to use their intelligence to work on methods of prevention, as opposed to just because once somebody come and murder your child, you can't fix that shit. You can't bring back your child. Let me tell you this: you can't undo what was already done. Look at those old ladies by Border Market side a couple years ago, where those young boys go in, tie up the two old pensioners, murder them. That's one scenario. Look at the other scenario, where the man go into the house on the East Coast and beat up the old woman, kill the old woman right there, the old woman on the floor, right? And the man walking through your house, drinking from your fridge, and doing all of this with the woman on the floor, walking back and lashing shit and all type of scut, right? Let me tell you what. These men, I went personally to prison, and those men are living like kings in prison. Do not be fooled. Those men are living good in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not want to go to prison wrongfully, but what scunt I see when I go there, I can tell you this, right? So, there ain't no sense in giving a man life in prison when the man still has the opportunity to still live a halfway decent life from in the prison cell. Let me tell you something. It is better that you save the taxpayer dollars, plus when you have people who are sentenced to life in prison, it also endangers the prison system. Because when a man is sentenced to life in prison and he is a violent man, prison is supposed to be a place for reform, not just a place of punishment. If prison was a place of punishment alone, it would not be a partial sentence. It would be a forever sentence. Understand what I'm telling you? Prison must be a place of corrective reform, hence the term correctional institution. Okay? Now, this being the case, the court made a corrective decision. This person has proven to take the lives of innocent people. And now this person is fighting for their own life. Let me tell you what. The father of the woman that was murdered, the grandfather of the children, that family deserves justice. And I don't believe, in my opinion, that giving life imprisonment to a man in Guyana for such a crime is giving anyone justice. Because I have visited the prison system as an inmate, and I can tell you this: when the crime is so severe, you are not punishing anybody by putting them there. You are only appeasing your consciousness. But at the end of the day now, that same person will also be alive in the prison system. And our prison system is not a divided prison system where a man who get locked up for not paying the parking tickets gonna be around man who ain't pay parking ticket. That man who couldn't pay parking ticket will be thrown right around the same man, who is serving time for murder. Now, I need you to understand something. You create another instance of victimization when you do that. Because the small-time offender, who might only needed a corrective action so he doesn't go and commit more, parking violations, you would have just sent him in and put him to live around a convicted murderer who has nothing left to live for except to make his presence known. Which means now, you send a small man in there, you're going to cause bullyism, you're going to cause murder right in the prison. Now a man who go in there for a parking ticket got to go up and fight the man who is already sentenced to life. The man who has the parking ticket will come out in 1 week if he don't get himself in any problems. But within that 1 week, the man who there in there for murder can go and start big problem and hold that man hostage, get people perform, call their family for sending ransom. Let me tell you something that's going on here. And it's a well-organized system. So, where everybody get bite. Even prison officer and them just get bite in the money. Let me tell you what is going on. It's a big mafia system.
Let me
right?
say.
So hold on. So in saying this, and I can speak from personal experience, I know what's up. I know what's up. Right? Guyana's whole correctional institution needs a complete overhaul. Right? Our justice system needs an overhaul. One, why did it take 9 years for that family to even receive back a verdict? Why did it take 9 years to conduct a preliminary inquiry and everything else that would have had to be done in the course of a murder? Why did it take 9 years, ladies and gentlemen, for the course of justice to pass on one matter that is 9 years extra torment and suffering on the victim's family? Not just the victim's family, but also the family of the man who committed the crime. Because the family of the man who committed the crime, they didn't want that man to commit that crime. They are also victims. So, in my opinion, one, maybe the man changed in his mind. Maybe he's a different man now. But he has to understand, he is still the same man that he was back then. Your mentality may change, your actions may change. But if you have changed and you have found Allah, it is time to send you with a first class ticket to go and meet Allah or Jesus. Because only they can undo what you have done. So it's time that, you're sending to the only people that could fix that. Because we can't humanly bring back life. So it is best we send him where he needs to go so he could plead the matter in front of the Almighty. Because only the Almighty can handle it from there.
Well, let me ask you a question. Everything that you're saying makes sense. But I know personally a lot of innocent people are in jail until now.
I know that as well.
You, wait please, you was also victimized and was placed in prison because of corrupt politicians and businessmen. I am your father. I feel that pain. And I am calling on the Attorney General to investigate your case wrongfully. And I will sign to it and do a lie detector test. If you are guilty, kill me in your space. But if you're innocent, I want all who was involved. Politicians, corrupt police who, well, that's their job, but they had no right to beat you. Try, lock the door and 3 times prison on you with a fire, you could have died. I don't want to hear sorry. I want justice.
Okay.
Wait, you're talking about the people, parents.
Hold on. So let me just say something.
Go on.
I would never let you die in my place. That's the first thing that
I am challenging.
That's the first thing I need.
Please.
That's the first thing that I need to tell you.
All right, good.
If
I am challenging the government.
My father, if I am ever guilty, I will shoot myself.
You're not listening to what you are hearing. Give me the opportunity and justice as a father. I am going to sign with Anil Nandalal and the opposition, Mr. Joseph Harman. If you are guilty for theft, drugs, or corruption, kill George Karaka, I'm responsible for you here. But if you're innocent, I want every politician who was involved, every corrupt judge that made the sentence, and the people who accuses you. I believe in the teaching of Muhammad. And that is why I'm saying it clearly here today. We will never rest until we get justice. You can't have people working for lawyers, have contact in the courthouse, lock up innocent people and they walk the road. This disease must be picked up and contained so it cannot spread. We getting rid of syphilis, we getting rid of AIDS, we getting rid of, you name it, but we allowing demons to walk between innocent people. I believe in the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, because I also came from a Muslim background and a Hindu. I believe in the Mahabharata war. I believe in the Christian teaching, that's why Moses threw the commandment in their face. I believe in Jesus' teaching. Do unto others as they do unto you. Don't hurt nobody, they won't hurt you. Even though we got mentally ill people out there. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not preaching violence. America dropped a bomb in Japan because they attacked Pearl Harbor. They went into Vietnam because of the communist doctrine and what they were doing. They could have wiped Cuba out, but they give it a chance. They do it to Venezuela by applying pressure economically. They do it to Saddam. They do it to Libya. They do it to many more. And if they can do it in the name of humanity and justice, I, George Correa, would like those kind of teaching and those kind of doctrine to give me justice. Every man, every woman, every child deserve justice. Do unto others, ladies and gentlemen, as you would like them done unto you. Take it from me. No man is bigger than another. Excuse the French. Once you have two balls and a penis, we are the same. No woman is better than another woman once you have the same body parts. Ideology and thinking goes a long way. Let's unite, save humanity, help the less fortunate, work together for a better world. For our time of departure is around the corner. But let it be done by God Almighty. Not create an accident when you murder the person. Not poison somebody and say they make mistake. Because businessmen, politicians, and corrupt people do that a lot. All over the world, not only in Guyana. So if we are talking about justice, praying on Allah, praying on Bhagwan, and calling on Jesus, remember the teaching of all the prophets. The Mahabharata war. The war of Kabla with Prophet Muhammad's grandson. Prophet Muhammad went to war, a little spider saved his life in the cave. If the story is true, I don't know. The war with Moses and Joshua in the name of Christianity. But we as human beings, the only thing separated us is languages. Every woman wants to be happy. Every child wants to have mommy and daddy and to live good. And yes, we have some tormented soul between, but there must be a place to recuperate them and bring them into society. But if all over the world, politicians making underhand deals, judge collecting envelope but not a letter to say you're doing a good job, and police collecting a letter to put a bangle on your hand, not gold, a silver one, and I'm not saying all of them. I am just talking what's happening around the world. So for those who can't speak English in Guyana, before you put your handcuff to me, get the U.S. Embassy involved, the Canadian and the British, because those are where English is upheld. All right?
Right.
That's it. It's not a threat. Right?
Okay, but why you shouting?
No, they must know I am very hurt because I understand what's taking place here. And if a woman knows her husband is a thief, he's not working, suddenly come with a bag of jewel, suddenly bringing home plenty things.
The woman do the right thing.
Wait.
I feel that woman is a hero. That woman deserves to be respected.
The government deserves to take care of that woman and her children and her family. Because she's one.
Because the woman
that
didn't
do the right thing.
The woman didn't say
well,
this is. Yeah, the woman didn't say this is my husband. I should
keep
this a secret.
Other women,
the right thing.
Other women and mothers should learn from her. If your son, your brother, your uncle, or your husband commit a crime against another person, he ain't ready for your wifehood, sisterhood, daughterhood. Hand the bastard over.
Yep.
All right? Or you will be a part of that crime. They got an old saying in Guyana, show me your association. And another one, all birds with one feather flock together. So if you got a thief in the family, for God's sake, hand him or her over. All right? I'm not saying anything wrong. It's the English law. Right? But we are looking forward to heal the wound and put Guyana forward. And stop this thing but black by, coolie by, Portuguese by, Bok by. We have a name. Right? And for you, my black brothers and sisters, Stop this bullshit about emancipation. Oh, your ancestor, which is a part of me, took I got it in me. They was emancipated. They didn't go back home. And you Indian, stop the day of arrival. If not, you would have to have a day of departure. Idi Amin, the all-Indian deportation in 1970s, the late. And Mr. Mugabe, the all-white people, whether they're born there or not, departure time to leave from Rhodesia. And now in South Africa, they are trying to do the same, but Mandela tell them clear, they're Africano like you. Let's unite into this world. There were millions and billions of people before all of us. None remain, only few named. Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, Pilate, Caesar, you name it. And if Abraham is our great-grandfather, my black brothers, and he happened to be black according to everybody, I am sorry. I now see why black people run away and leave their wife with children. Because Abraham put the woman with a child on a camel or a jackass to die in the desert. If he was into their world, they would have charged him and hang him because that was an attempt murder. Thank you.
That is, hey, I give you credit. You touched right on the spot because that was one of the first instances, right, of parental abandonment where a man abandoned his wife and his child. And as much as we look at the Bible, that is a real fish-up piece.
No, you know what I like about that?
That's a real
but you know what I like about that? Ladies, whether you're a devoted Muslim covering your whole head and leave your eyes out like vampire, or whether you're wearing something to hide it, I want to ask you, the women, if you cannot get children and you have a servant, will you ask your husband to go to bed with that servant? Come on, Abraham, she says, Sarah. Go to bed with your slave, who's your servant. As the woman created Ishmael, the Bible, not me, said God blessed the womb. How we know wasn't the devil had sex with she because Abraham no time for her, she was too old. He wanted a younger plant. And she got a child, and she keep telling, you know, your wife, son, now got your husband, why you spending so many time with your mother, your sister, or why you spending so many time with the servant? When the woman don't get the baby, she said, Abraham, you have to let the bloody servant go with that bastard child. And our great-grandfather, where the all originated from, put that innocent woman in the desert to die on a camel or a jackass. That is why, when a man called his wife a jackass, the real jackass was grazing, he laughed. He laughed at his ass. He's the jackass, not the woman. Have a good day.
Hey, you know what? You know what? You make a very valid point there. I can't even argue with that point because it's true. It's true to God. True, the Bible says so, and based on what the Bible says, that's a very serious.
Plenty thing. I question the Bible, and I'm a priest. I could be an imam, but I'm afraid to be an imam when they take inside.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Take this part with Adam and Eve. God put Adam to lay down. Take a ribs and make a woman. Then when you're having sex with your wife, you're screwing yourself. God is not a welder, a mechanic, or a joiner. It is easy to make another table as a furniture maker. It is easy to make I want you to take an old Toyota car and carry it to the maker and say, repair this. They says, no, you're better off get a new one.
Get a new one.
So you're turning God to be nobody. You don't know what you were doing. Lucifer made women, but at that time, Lucifer was not a bad. They were devil. Or Shaitan, mean disbeliever, not to be trusted.
The term Satan stands for slanderer, right?
Thank you.
Just to let you know, right?
Thank you.
And slander seems to be what has been happening.
You know what the other thing?
Okay, well, hold on. Let me not get off the subject because you don't.
No, a lot of things is corrupt.
No, but you don't kind of gone off the subject. You make a lot of good points, but you also got to remember your points need to stay on.
No, you got to educate them because they're quick to say you disrespect them.
No, well, here's the thing. You can't argue with ignorance, Mr. Correa. The more you argue with ignorance is the more you waste your time in this life. Wisdom should not be wasted upon a fool. So you must take your story straight and you gotta keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, you can't argue with ignorance. It is time consuming. All right. So, we are interested in hearing everyone's opinion on whether or not this gentleman should be granted his appeal.
I don't think he should. He should have been executed by now.
Right? That is my personal belief. My belief is, and if the guy is watching this, make peace with God, buddy, because you're about to see him.
And I do believe when you accuse somebody for a crime, you must get the sentence.
Right? So make peace with God, because the reality is you took the lives of a whole family and potential families, right? You took hope out of this world, and because you took hope out of this world, you didn't just take a life. When you took the mother life, when you took the children life, you took the hopes and the dreams of everyone else. And in saying so, I would agree with the judgment of the court to make sure that you have no hope left. For what you took has just been taken from you. Fair enough.
That's right.
All right. Now,
second subject.
Aside from that, we have one more topic to discuss. Since Mr. Correa has been here in the country, he's been looking at a lot of things. He's been looking at the support base that our local network has been receiving from not just our international members, but also from our Guyanese viewers and followers. Now, Mr. Correa is making a proposal here, and it's one of his many recommendations before he fully retires, and it's something that we're going to be discussing in the network to implement, and that is to have network facilities around the world wherever we have network locations, such as the US, London, Guyana,
any part of the world, Africa, anywhere.
Bangladesh, Australia, and a few different places where we have network branches. And we are looking to actually build facilities to actually house our network members who wish to travel to Guyana. Let's use Guyana as an example, because I'm here. For instance, if you're traveling to Guyana and you are connected to our network, you will no longer have to pay hotel fees, rental car fees, and other issues like that, because as our scheme is completed, we will actually do a program to raise money to build the right type of facility to make sure that our network members or their friends or family who are traveling to these countries where we have our organization
will be taken care of.
The only thing that they have to worry about is covering for their immediate expenses, such as food, and certain other little comforts. However, at the same time, persons who donate to our organization as well will have access to be able to come and stay in those places, which will be set up as nice hotels. Will be able to come and stay there free of charge because of what it is that you're doing for the network. Now, in order to structure it correctly, we will be working on an adequate structured plan for persons, so if you're donating X amount, you can probably stay there or have your friends and family stay there for a month or 2 months. And if you know that at the end
how
of the
long
day,
you want? What is you and your family?
No, but you also have to remember there are also other logistical issues there. We have to maintain the building. We have to make sure things are clean. So there's going to be a lot of other things there. So the proposal was put forward by Mr. Correa this morning. And
if they want to go to the interior, we will also have planes standby to flew them in and bring them back up.
Yeah, but don't talk.
Free
don't
of charge.
Please don't talk about the helicopter, the plane yet. Wait till those things arrive, and then we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, this is a proposal that Mr. Correa has put forward, and it is something that we are going to be looking into at the board, and we're going to see how best we can structure to make that a reality. The first thing that we will do before we go into that is we will finish up the housing project that we are doing in Land of Canaan. Also, the fact that in Land of Canaan, after that project is complete, on one of the estate lands that Mr. Correa owns, he is actually going to be building a helicopter pad there, so that when the time comes and our network has our helicopter in the country, right, it will be available for touring for our members and also other tourists that are coming. Of course, there is a couple years before that happens, as there are procedures, paperwork, so on and so forth, and fundraising to purchase the helicopter for the network here in Guyana. But these are areas that we are strongly looking into. These are things that are on our plans in terms of our 10-year objective. There are other things that are there. Persons who are in the network already, persons who are connected to our housing committee, these are some of the things that you can look forward to as spin-off benefits to being a part of our housing program. All right. Later on this month, I'm going to do a public announcement in terms of our budget, in terms of the financing, in terms of what we have spent so far, in terms of how far we have come. We are going to relate issues that may have slowed us down or things that can help us move faster. We believe in transparency, and this network is 100% transparent, not just to the government and the agencies that we are required to legally, we are legally obligated to be transparent to, but because we are a network that is here to serve the public and to help create solutions for the issues that are affecting us here in the public. It is also extraordinarily important that all of our financial records, in terms of all of the work that we are doing, whether it's with the housing scheme or with our nonprofit programs and our community outreaches, it is extraordinarily important to have all of our records transparent to the public and to our other members who either contribute or take part in the work in which we do, not just here in Guyana, but also globally. This is extraordinarily important in this day and age, as most of the leaders and people that we have in positions will never be transparent because many of them have plenty of things to hide. So we are hoping to lead by example and set an example that others can follow in terms of being transparent, in terms of putting bullshit aside and bringing the actual issues and solutions to the forefront that we the people need and are looking forward to having at some point in time in the future. We are also reaching out to our government and all leaders in Guyana to please put your differences aside and do as we have done and put the interests of all Guyanese unanimously to the forefront. It is now time for us to hold one head as a country and push this country forward. You do not need to be a president. You do not need to be a minister. You do not need to be a leader in your community to be a leader in your life. And the things that we are discussing will grossly affect the quality of life that you or your children will encounter as you walk on your journey. Our only intention is to make that journey a little easier, remove some of the obstacles, and give everybody the freedom and flexibility to truly find out who you are and your real purpose in this life. Because many of us have very prominent purposes in this life, but due to a broken system, many good people never grow to their maturity. We die.
Some committing suicide.
We die before we can leave our impact on this planet. It is time that we preserve the lives of our good people. It is time that we encourage and teach our children to become the people that are so much better than anything that we could have ever become. It is called evolution, ladies and gentlemen. And it is time for Guyana to evolve, and we cannot evolve without the participation of every cell of this country, meaning every person. And we hope that this type of resolution can resonate throughout the world and reach other people in different countries that have multiple conflicts, especially political upheavals, turmoil, and corruption. And I hope that the people in those parts of the world can address their matters with these simple solutions that we have here and unite their people in a global fight to preserve a moral balance in humanity, which is necessary toward peace of mind and living equality and full life. Mr. Karaya, what would you like to add to that?
I have a challenge for the priest and the politician.
Oh God, let them
No. This is on behalf of the same basic.
Listen.
If you believe in what you say you are doing, I want every priest and politician to take a poor family in your house. All them extra rooms you got, give them some that they could enjoy whatever you are enjoying. I, George Karaya, done it for many, many years in America and even here. Because I am very selfish. I can't sleep alone and eat alone. And I don't want to die alone. And all of you who got your fancy car driving down the road, and waving hand. When you see an old person or a child going to school, stop and take them along the way, because when you crash, it's the same people you pass just run to your rescue.
Mr.
I have seen it all over the world.
Mr. Correa.
Start the step.
Mr. Correa, I would have to disagree with certain things. Ladies and gentlemen, don't take people in your house.
No. They have to take a poor family. They are talking about to help the people.
Stop.
How about I do that?
That's because you took a shitload of risk. And trust me when I tell you, there have been many losses based on that philosophy.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't take everybody in your house.
That's my opinion anyway.
That is his opinion. I understand that. But as his son, I can tell you, my father has taken many, many strange people into his house and household when he has a family. You don't do that shit when you have a family. You gotta protect your family. Don't be stupid. Don't do what this man did. That's stupidity. You want to help people, help them, but keep them at a distance. Don't help people and bring them too much around you. If you're single, you ain't got much to lose. If you're like me, fine. It's not the problem. Take a chance if you want to take a chance. But Mr. Correa, I have to disagree with what you said. Sometimes you pick up an old woman on the road, you want to help she get the pint. Before you even get down there, when the woman come out, she say you raped your scut. Let me tell you what, you get locked up for that.
Have to prove it.
No, you have to prove it. Within that time, you're still in prison. You're still plastered all over the media. Your whole life has already been described for what, an old lady who probably about to die. And even if she found guilty, well then if you agree, you can't give people bad information.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, be very cautious as to who you take.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, none of you going to heaven because God might got Hitler, Napoleon, Caesar, and all them men up there drinking champagne, while your politician and corrupt preacher drinking champagne here, you feeling pain. And well, that's my opinion, by the way.
But I'm just telling you.
And the graveyard full of all kind of people.
Well, that's okay. But before people repeat any of the stupid ass mistakes you made in your life, I'm going to advise them against it. Right?
All right, that's your opinion.
Because
I will take that from you.
At the end of the day, let me tell you what.
I agree with what you said, though.
Wait. Let me tell you something. My father's such a nice guy. He bring people into his household when his wife and kids were there. And the same people he brought into his household drove division between his wife, his kids, and himself until he ended up divorced and miserable. And so let me wait, stop. So let me tell you something. Don't follow that man advice.
Indian people.
Listen.
Black people didn't do that.
Listen, it doesn't matter.
Chinese didn't do that.
It doesn't matter.
Spanish didn't do that. Indian people done it.
Let me tell you this. You are an extraordinary. Listen, you are an extraordinarily kind person. But at the same time, if you're kind and you're stupid, you will be destroyed, or you will have unnecessary anxiety to deal with. There's a reason why my father is very upset at Guyanese people. That is because the same people that helped destroy his life was some of the same Guyanese people he took into his household and opened up the doors to. However, I have learned from watching my father's mistakes, so that I can be here on a day like today, in case he gives you bad advice, to tell you very clearly. Stop. If you are rich and someone is poor, don't take them into your house. Do not. And I will tell you why, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. Okay? A poor man does not see things the same way a rich man does. And most people who are currently poor in this life are poor by decision. Some people say, no, it's circumstances, it's country, life is unfair. No. You can't blame life or God because you too goddamn stupid to think outside the box. That is not nobody's fault except your own. There are many, many people in this life who started poor and walked their way up and have achieved certain things in this life. You did not start rich, Mr. Correa, right? So I understand that you want to be Mother Teresa.
No, she's a woman.
No. You might as well be Mother Teresa. Because the type of advantage I see them do to you when you open up your door to them, you might as well have been a woman, because you would have been poised for what they did to you, because it was sheer Rambam. Stop, hold on. It was sheer Rambam, and I speaking from experience. Let me tell you something. There's a reason why you hear the saying, get rich and switch. Right? I know plenty of you would have heard that saying. A man get rich and he switched. Some people say you forget where he come from. No. He remember where he come from. He remember where he come from very, very well.
So you don't want to go back there.
And he don't plan on going back there. And most people who did it, them don't want to suffer alone. And before they take the time to do what is necessary to not suffer, they would rather hold the mati and pull the mati into the freaking grave with them. So let me tell you something carefully, right? Help. But help at a distance. You've got to. There are some people you could help, yeah. Some people you could take chance, take in your home and things like this. But let me tell you what, now is not the time to play them game, Mr. Correa.
Hold on.
Now stop. Now is not the time. People are not the way they used to be 40 years ago. This world is more evil, it is more devious, it is more destructive. Stop, Mr. Correa, you got to listen. It is 100 times easier to find yourself in the problem. So, some things I can agree with, and other things I cannot, and I refuse to even allow you, my father, to tell somebody information that might put them in danger.
That is my opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't take nobody in your house. Don't take nobody in your house, especially poor people.
What is...
No, stop.
All right.
Stop. You know why? Because people who have found themselves in extreme states of poverty tend to be desperate people. And if a person is desperate, they're not going to think about your interests. They are only thinking about getting out of that state of desperation. And Mr. Correa, if you cannot assess how dangerous that could be for your wife and kids, then you have no idea. Look at the man who murdered the woman in Shachiran. If that man went there and that woman would have taken them into their house and want to treat them like family, guess what would happen? The woman would get murdered long ago. Way before that. So, Mr. Correa, don't tell people to take poor people into their house, because many people are poor for a reason, right? And this is my belief.
Maybe you're
Stop.
right. I'm not
I have been poor. I've been poor. I've lived in a shelter by choice.
Okay.
Right? I run away from home. I not go out on the street by choice. And I still realize the reason why most people are poor is because they're lazy. Nobody can tell me anything else. Because if you are not lazy, you will not rely upon an excuse. You will find what is necessary. You will do what is necessary to no longer be poor. And if you have a moral standard or a good head on your shoulder, you will not have to hurt anybody to get ahead. And this is a fact, Mr. Correa. So let me tell you what. Even when you want to help, I ain't going to stop you from helping people. But do me a favor. Don't help them and bring them around me. Me want to see them.
No, you learn from
No, I'm telling you. Me want to see them. Look, stop. Look at Dr. Roach the other day. Dr. Roach.
I agree.
Dr. Roach was helping and associated and helping young men. Why same young men he helping? Come and kill him. Now, shortly afterwards, they put up a picture with Dr. Roach dancing up. People putting money and things like that. But me, one, I can't support that type of behavior. So, I tell you this. For the friend that I knew, I mourn for the friend that I knew. However, at the same time, this is Guyanese story. It's like most men in Guyana who like drink is a set of anti-man.
Yeah, man, it's
Listen,
not.
Listen. I'm not saying he's an anti-man, but let me tell you this. As my friend, that man would have never do nothing like that around me. Because, wait, hold on. Stop. And I was very disappointed.
To see that.
I was extraordinarily disappointed to see that.
Well, wait a minute.
So stop, hold on. It does not change the fact that the man was murdered. It does not change the fact that the man reached out to help people. And in their own poor desperation or for something as simple as a car scot, they go and take his life. But stop. On behalf of all people with good, righted minds and judgment, let me tell you what. You want to help somebody, help this cunt from a distance. You got to. It is the safest way. Help them through an organization. Help them through the righted way. When you help people, don't get personally involved with those that you help.
All right, relax. Listen, the Dr. Roach dancing does not surprise me. I went to many African countries. Men dance and the people come and put money into the side.
Okay, good. Well, let me...
is different.
Good. Well, let me tell you something.
Culture.
But listen, let me tell you something.
They do it to women also.
Well, let me tell you...
Hold on.
No, stop.
Dubai.
Wait, hold on.
Dubai.
Listen, we know this. But listen, there's whoring, there's prostitution, there's exploitation.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, all in place full
Kuwait,
of... Listen, all in place full of sex trafficking, right? Now, listen very carefully.
Worse
right?
than Las Vegas.
Listen very carefully. My story is straight, you know. My story ain't got no left, right, up and down. Right? You walk like a duck, you talk like a duck, it's time to roast the duck. Right? If you're not an anti-man, don't get on with anti-man behavior.
Stop. She said, what?
Stop.
That's not anti-man. Tribal affair can be.
Listen.
But Guyanese people have a low mentality.
Well, let me tell you something. Low mentality or not, there's no way I dancing with a set of male friends and winding up with anybody and putting
That's
money.
No.
No.
To be one of them, like.
Well, if he wanted to be one of them, he was one of them.
But he was not.
And the wages the anti-man isn't pay is dog. So I can't feel sorry for you then. Story done there.
Then you're calling him that.
No, I'm not calling him that. What I'm saying.
If you're not educated to culture, then don't say something.
Listen. Let me tell you what. Well, if Mr. Correa, if culture tell me, and I know he's a man and I got a lowly, right?
Oh God.
And culture tell me for go and wind up with the next man who got lowly. But let me tell you, you keep that culture. I am anti-cultural after today, if that is culture. Because let me tell you what, the only culture you get in there is the culture for a semen test that the hospital got to go and do an exam. Let me tell you something. Right?
We are not getting into that.
No, hold on. No. Hold on.
You're a man, nobody could start wanting.
No, what I'm saying though is that Dr. Roach helped the man, but then he went beyond helping. There's a difference.
Many of them go beyond helping.
Well, you know what? Well, this is where people get themselves in trouble.
All right.
This is where you just put yourself in trouble. You help. Listen, a man tell you, George, my family that bad. I got the bill. I got to pay a bill this month. I can't make it. The bill is 100,000. George Cryer, you want to help him? Do you know the only way you can help that man? Say, look, buddy, I can help you pay this bill. That is how you do it. And then you and the man become friends. Because the man gonna want to be your friend. Why? Because you're a fucking bank. So the man want to be your friend. You're a bank. Stop. That man ain't your friend. That man is a friend or whoever could give you what you want.
I quite agree. I'm not retarded.
Now hold on. Now when you go now and you make a personal relationship with these people where they are now your friends, you're bringing them into your house, what do you think these people coming for do? These people ain't coming for see. Hey, Mr. Correa is such a good man. Those people coming in your house to say, oh, what? Mr. Correa got $20 million.
I agree.
Mr. Correa could afford to lose $1 million. Let me tell you something.
I quite agree.
Let me tell you something.
Even your workers, you got to be careful.
Listen,
I quite agree.
I don't trust worker. I don't keep many friends. Right? Why? Because you can't trust people's intention.
But you cannot judge everybody the same way.
No one told you to judge them the same way, but nobody told you to open up your gates and bend over for the thief man and the anti man either, and let them have their way with you. That is unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to help, you must learn to help from a safe zone. Some people can completely dive their whole body and life into it, and they don't care if they get lashed. This man would sacrifice everything to help a stranger. But here's the problem. The man fails to realize that most of these strangers that need help putting themselves in bad situation and then only crying for help for people to bail them out of their own bad decisions. Right? Yesterday, I dealt with the situation. I ain't gonna call names.
Okay.
I dealt with the situation where a single mother with 3 children reached out to a donor. Told the donor she had a bill. The donor willing to help she. And you say no names. She tell the person that willing to help she owe $500,000 to pay off a bill. The donor contacted us. By the way, this woman also stated that her husband left her with all she kids and rolled out. Stop. So anyway, so the donor contacted us. We go and we investigate the matter. As we investigate the matter, she only owed a small amount of money. She didn't owe what she telling the donor she owed. So what was she really trying to do there? She assessed the donor to be somebody who got money. She don't care where the donor got to get the money from or what sacrifice the person making for help she?
Or how many more people?
Or how
could
many
they
more
help?
people could have gotten that same help genuinely? She was just concerned about her own interests. Not even directly concerned about just clearing up the headache, but she wanted to get even more. So she started lying about the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. You can feel sorry for people until you start feel sorry for yourself if you don't know what you're doing. Get help. But help from a safe distance, please. Some people can help family and friend. And even when you help family and friend and you invite them into your house, tell me if you don't get headache after you invite them in your house. Very
Not
few.
everybody.
Listen, very few people. If I know 10,000 people who have helped family and friends by inviting them into their house, I could count the people on my hand that said it was actually worth it. The rest of them cussing and kicking themselves right now.
I quite agree.
Good. So that being the case.
Education and training have a lot to do. You
So-
train human like you train dogs.
So that being the case, don't advise these people ill-manneredly or incorrectly.
Yes.
You got to advise them based on reality. And I will not encourage a politician to take people into their home. However, I will encourage the politician, instead of spending $100 million that you magically get from one paycheck and buying the biggest home, get something and then help somebody else build a home for themselves, if that is the case. Give them a payment plan. They can pay you back, but take the stress off their shoulder. You can help them.
Not only that.
There are various ways to help people, but don't invite it into your house. And for everybody who talking about you got to help the poor, you got to help the poor. Yes, people are helping the poor. Here's the problem: the poor have not learned how to help themselves. And if you wish not to be poor, the first thing that you need to improve is your method of thinking. You can't think like poor people anymore. You need to change this one. Once you change though, you won't be poor anymore. But if you keep telling yourself you're poor, you will always be poor. If you keep crying it upon yourself, you will always get it. If you need to stop telling yourself you're poor, you got no hope. You need to start telling yourself, hey, I got life, I got opportunity. But this is the whole thing. They rather cry a sad story because people have been feeling too sorry and they have been taking advantage of many, many people. So ladies and gentlemen, when you help or when you're feeding somebody, feed them with a long spoon before you pull them close. Right? In the meantime, we have a lot of business to go take
Well,
care of.
one more thing before I go.
Well, you gotta look at them. Don't talk to me. I see you all the time.
Mr.
You're pretty and
Snow-
all, yeah, but
Mr. Stone learned from experience, and I can't take that from him. But if your country is now climbing, I ask the government today, don't waste your money burning fireworks in millions of dollars, build houses, or pay the civil servant not 7%, but give them 75%, so they can uplift their standard. That is my advice to you. And don't celebrate dependent and call it independence because the Amerindians are still living in the jungle. Remember, Africa is liberated, that is independence. India is independence. China is independence. The Caribbean and Guyana is dependent. And that's my opinion. My way of independence means selfless. But I cannot live in another man's house and claim it, okay?
Right.
Especially when I have day of arrival and freedom.
all right.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much. All
That's
right,
my
ladies-
opinion, nothing personal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We thank you for your time. If you like this show, please click like, subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we also hit a new milestone of 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers.
Mr. Snow.
And once we reach 1,000 subscribers, then YouTube will actually pay us to help keep promoting this show. So even if you don't, or you are incapable of making a financial contribution toward keeping this show up and running, it is really simple. It costs you nothing to go to our channel on YouTube and click that subscribe button. It's free of charge, and you can help us do big things simply by doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Snow. First time I shake your hand. That's
Oh, Scott,
One
Mr.
little
Karai.
son, but
Well, right now,
you
right,
got
right.
to calm down a little.
You gotta calm down too.
That's all right.
If my panties are in a bunch, understand I wear you size.
I don't wear dress. Even though Jesus said love your fellow man,
You
I
see.
ain't going that way.
Well, this is why we don't love we fellow man where we did dance up and wind up with each other.
And
you ain't teach
on
me
behalf
that
of
stuff. That's
Dr.
rough
Rose,
shop
another
behavior.
thing, no, that's tribal affair. Don't
Listen,
take it personal.
respect to Dr. Rose. He was
And
my
his
friend.
family.
But some things I can't condone. I'm sorry.
Because you don't understand culture.
Listen. I don't accept man winding up with man or dancing with man. I don't accept that, and I'm not a drinker. I don't promote heavy drinking.
What about the
alcoholism.
Indians who, when they get drunk, they dance with each other in the wedding house?
Well, listen, that's why them
Hold on.
want to stop. That's why I don't associate with people. The minute I see a man dancing and winding up on the next man, I gone.
All right, before we go,
I ain't there pondo.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Fire pondo. No anti-man business ain't there. That's sodomite. Stop by me in there pondo.
Since Snow touched that, 1 minute. How can Snow explain this? Well, all what he says is moral standard, please. But let's face reality. Canary, the late Calypsonian, made a song about Indrani. The Pandits and others went to the Mahasabha Burnham and said, he disrespecting Indian woman. But in the Indian wedding house on a Saturday night or Sunday, the Indian boy singing to his brother wife, give me little na bougie, my body na go know. And the mother-in-law dancing and the father-in-law dancing. What the vulgar sees a whorehouse? Have a good day.
Okay, well, like I said, anybody conducting themselves in certain types of affairs, respect to you, but I ain't entertaining the nonsense, right? I got by cheering. No way I can teach me by cheering. It's alright for go and drink up and sing and wind up and dance for the man. You're mad.
It happened in culture, it happened in wedding, it happened in...
Good. Well, let me tell you what. That is because the world lies within the hands of the devil. The devil don't mind if our man becomes sodomite. Then humanity can't go nowhere. Me and that one dog. Hold on. I think some people are trying to get on live here. Let's see.
You don't make love with a man?
I don't make love with no man, Scott.
Your wife is your wife and is a woman. What's your name? Woman.
Yeah.
M-A-N?
Yeah, but that's I don't have a wife at this. And two, right? Oh, by the way, congratulations on the marriage.
Marriage? What kind of marriage? I mean, I hear people talking. Anyhow, thank you. I would like to marry Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, I got it. Now Lady Diana.
Right.
All right?
I see.
Nothing personal.
Hold on. I see somebody said, Shoba says, stop talking about Indian culture, my friend. Okay, so let me state something, right?
You ever been to India?
Wait. Let me state something real carefully, right? To all real Indian men, because I'm an East Indian man myself, a mix up, right? If somehow our culture has been contaminated with a set of anti-manism or homosexuality, where the men and the boys in our culture have started singing, dancing, and winding up on each other, and at the same time, groups of Indian men in India are coming together and sexing each other and raping young Indian women on the road. People can't walk the road.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about don't tell me about culture, miss.
It happened in
If this is the case, miss, we culture needs to be corrected, and there is so much more of an evident reality that we must talk about it. Because the generation that is currently coming and what is happening in this society, our lives are not getting easier. Things are not getting better. This life is a life where you suffer. And the faster that you understand that there's a lot of sufferation in this life, and it's not all daffodils and white picket fence and fairy tale and Prince Charming, this Prince Alarm and Scott, right? Because let me tell you this.
God destroyed a nation because of that, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, so the story goes, right? So I'm not speaking of Indian culture.
You're talking
because as a man with East Indian heritage in me, I can tell you this.
Portuguese, Chinese,
man dancing with man and winding up with man is not a part of my Indian culture. If you choose to claim anti-manism and homosexuality and actions related to homosexuality as part of your Indian culture, well then I will say this. I probably come from the south of India and you come from the north, because in the south of India, we don't carry on with dumb mother skunt, right? So let me tell you this. Real Indian men, we don't deal with dog.
I ain't
Right?
calling him to. I ain't just
Right?
friend of mine do that. And when they're featuring your show, he talk about, the rum make me do that. So the rum get bad name.
Right? So the poor rum getting blamed. Right? Let me tell you what, it's not no rum. When people drink you to see what they really got in them. And plenty women, and plenty women who feel they got husband, ain't got husband. They got temporary man. Because he's only a husband when he's in the house, shouting at the wife and beating shit for cookie roti, clean the house and mind the church. But when he go to the rum shop, he body name Ravi start whining bunny bamsy because he don't take 2 shots at El Dorado. Let me tell you what, the man find gold mine, he digging, he dredging, he friend. So let me tell you something. That is not part of my culture. And I find it disrespectful to say that that is a part of Indian culture. Because that is not a part of Indian culture, my friend. That is a part of homosexual culture and the devil's culture. Because that has been around for a very, very long time. God made man equipped one way and he made woman equipped one way. Them two is 2 pieces of puzzle. Click, they fit, they lock. But when you understand, there's no loose end. When a man and a woman come together, it forms a complete unity. But when a man and a man come together, there's always a loose string, pointing in a direction with no angle. No way that can make. You got an end and you never know where you're headed. You just know you're fighting straight. So let me tell you what, God completed the circle when he made man and woman, but mankind want to go further down the road when man want to line up in front of man. So let me tell you something. Abby don't believe in them, right? Abby don't encourage them. Now, I have a lot of homosexuals who are friends, right? And let me tell you this. We have a respect for each other. They keep dust cunt over there, far, far away from me. They don't bring the nonsense in front of me, son them, or me cheering. Because never should my cheering hear from me that son taking a man is okay. If or telling my daughter, sweetheart, it's best you take a woman. No, that is not how the human race has been created. And if we expect, no wonder mankind making a robot right now.
No, but wait.
No matter, that's why they make a robot. It's best we make a robot. Because if this world turned into a set of sodomite story, the human race done. Let me tell you what. Born upon anti-manism, respect to those who are, but don't bring that around me. And
I personally will tell you something. I had involved in homosexuality with man, but woman, not man.
nah, but you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out.
Woman, amen.
Mr. Correa, do you know what's gonna happen here? Listen. No, Mr. Correa, I understand where you're coming from.
I'm not going there for 2
But hey, do me a favor. Anybody who got the TikTok, we need to teach this man a lesson about what you say on social media and how it could be misinterpreted. That piece that he said he was involved in homosexual something with man, just record that piece and put it on TikTok and let him understand.
Woman.
No. You got to understand how you just said it. It could have come across wrong. This is why you need a better vocabulary when you're speaking.
Anything go wrong, but the wise men.
No. Well, listen. You didn't sound like a wise man there. You sound like you just you sound like you just accepted homosexuality as part of your life and religion. So Mr. Correa, Mr. Correa. So now you have set yourself up. I need to take you to the hospital to find out if that hole is a little loose or if it's tight. If it's tight, I can still call you my father. You're gonna be back on the show tomorrow. But if we visit the hospital and the hospital tell me that the tunnel took an expansion over the last few years, hold on. If the tunnel had an expansion over the last few years, well, Mr. Correa, well, definitely, well, our relationship shall change.
No. Do you know how you know? If a man sit down with you and he break wind and you didn't hear the noise, then that boy got problem. But if you pop, that man is tight. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We figured we'd give you a nice laugh on the way out. At the same time, certain things we encourage, certain things we don't encourage.
Nothing personal to the viewers or anything, but
right.
We are trying to learn from each other.
We welcome you guys all the time. I love and respect all of you who come on the show here, follow, listen to our opinion. Please be free to share your opinion. And remember, life is very serious. So if you could joke about some of it, you could laugh about it.
It's good for your soul. It's healthy for you. In the meantime, all of you have a great day. Stay safe. God bless. Say bye, Mr. Corral. There we go.
Peace and good luck to all of you. Nothing personal, you know. Sometimes you have to make jokes, you know, to keep this world going.
All right.
You live your life, but don't bring it too much me.
All right.
You know.
All right. Good.